to the comic shop. I'll let you read about Cyclops. I'll have you spending all you got. Cyberfrog is looking hot. Uncle E. Yo, 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 yo. Big Legit back here again to talk to you about another awesome 90s comic book. Are you ready? And I'm really excited about this one. We've been talking about Image Comics for a while here now, but Darker Image, baby. Darker Image. Every kid in my middle school popped for this book right here. You've got Blood Wolf by Rob Liefeld. You've got The Max by Sam Keith. You've got Deathblow by Jim Lee and Brandon Choi. And this comic was so dope, and everybody loved it. And it was actually, if you open it up here, you can see right here, Darker Image number 1 of 4, March of '93, baby. Guess what? There was no number 2, there was no number 3, there was no number 4. It was just this guy right here. Though I have heard from Rob Liefeld's Twitter that there was a Darker Image number 2 that was penciled out, but it was never actually colored and printed. And so you don't actually get to ever get anything other than this one, which makes me pretty sad, and I wish they would put out the next one. And basically it starts with this incredibly awesome Sam Keith art with the Max, you know, you can't go wrong with Sam Keith's artwork. And the writing on this, the dialogue by Bill Mesner-Loebs is absolutely fantastic. As a preteen, as a teenager, a preteen, I did not comprehend how good the writing was on the Max, but as an adult, it's actually inspired me to go pick up a few issues of the Max so that I can find out more what this was all about. The MTV cartoon on Liquid Television, for those of you interested, was also excellent and really made a lot of people fans of the Max. And I've often wondered, did Sam Keith complete the story about this homeless guy who thinks he's a hero? And this was basically the first introduction to the Max that people got, and to Julie. And I highly recommend the dialogue. And this story is just so good, and the artwork is just so vastly superior to so many things you see today. I've often wondered how long it took Sam Keith to do an entire page like this, because he puts so much interesting, intricate detail into all of this. It's absolutely amazing. And I think one of the things I really love is, you know, while he's drawn this on white, when he comes back to Earth, it almost feels like he's drawing everything on black, which is much more cinematic. You know, when you're in film, a cinematographer starts with a completely blacked out set, and they put one light down, and they see what that looks like, and then they'll add another light somewhere and another light. And I feel like Sam Keith does that with a lot of his art on the Max, and I really appreciate it. And then, you know, I'm going to come back to this one because I love this one, but I want to skip through a little bit to where we get to Deathblow. As a kid, I did not appreciate Deathblow, but after reading this story, it actually sucked me in and made me want to go pick up a few issues of Deathblow. Obviously, as a person who was collecting comics in the early 90s, you always got issue number 1 of everything. Always number 1 with a bullet, right? But then you tended to fall off after that. The mostly black and white artwork here is very interesting. The grayscale art. I love the tinges of green in this is really neat. And the red, of course, is going to really pop when he puts that on. And I highly recommend this story. Look at that great artwork by Jim Lee. Isn't that just gorgeous looking? Gorgeous looking. You see why it's called Darker Image. And, we're going to get into this guy too. Someday in the future, we're going to really get into this guy. But I highly recommend checking out Deathblow. Just after reading this story, it made me say, well, I need to go buy half a dozen issues of this and see what really happened with this character. Again, you know, kind of part of the unfortunate Image MO is things didn't really ever get completed on a lot of comic books. You'll get an issue 1 and an issue 2, and maybe you'll get, you know, a mini-series, but it all just kind of fell off, you know? The trappings of fame, I suppose we could say. And so just like with the Max up here, I'm curious if Deathblow back here ended up having a complete story told. I know that Deathblow has since been reincarnated at DC Comics or Wildstorm or whatever you want to call it. But I've fallen off since then. You know, I haven't bought one comic book that was released in the 21st century. And I just covered the stuff from the 80s and 90s on this channel. So anyways, let's move to the middle story though, which is Blood Wolf, written by Rob Liefeld and drawn by Rob Liefeld. And it was my fave when I was a kid, this particular story where Blood Wolf goes to Praxon 9, the last of the Praxon moons. And you see he's got this awesome Rob Liefeld style vehicle. I don't know, for the lack of a better term, a vehicle. I don't know if you call it a spaceship. I'm not sure how he's able to survive in deep space without something to protect him and give him oxygen. Maybe he doesn't need oxygen, even though science shows we need oxygen. So basically, you know, this classic comic book, Blood Wolf, shows up on this channel. He walks past who? Is that Lobo? I think it might be Lobo. And you can see, obviously, all the awesome patches, all this metal work here. Awesome patches on this little jacket here, this field jacket, if you will. Got some bullets there, some bullets there. Just classic Rob Liefeld type character. I really love the look of this guy. I really love the look of this guy. Believe it or not, there actually is a 4-issue Blood Wolf miniseries. Unfortunately, the art is not by Rob Liefeld, so I didn't appreciate it as much as I wanted to. But anyway, so you got this cameo by Lobo. Don't tell DC, or they will sue. But this is, you know, this comic book really shows you the bad blood that existed at that time between the Image creators and the big two, Marvel and DC, with the simple fact that Rob just puts Lobo right in here, doesn't give a crap. So basically he's going to kill this big fat guy here. Like this, oh crap. Say goodnight, Seymour. I'm not sure what to talk about here. Let's just go blam, look at that, kablam. There goes his head. Eyeball popped off. It's amazing that a gun has the ability to completely sever a human head while leaving the head intact, but also making the eyeball pop out, which I think is totally great. Because Image Comics is like the Quentin Tarantino of comic books, where there's blood and guts and you love it. So long, Seymour. There's going to be a movie about this. That was the big thing back then in 93, June of 93. Was, oh, Dooms 4, Steven Spielberg is meeting with Rob Liefeld to talk about making a movie about this and all the Image stuff. And that didn't pan out other than for Spawn. Witchblade had that TV series. I didn't really watch it. A lot of people liked it, from what I recall. The Darkness by Mark Silvestri is another one I'm amazed didn't really get a movie. That seemed like a movie material to me. But Dooms 4, man, geez, like, yeah, I have copies of this too, man, and it's crap. It's totally BS. Steven Spielberg didn't want to make a movie about this. He just wanted to get as many good ideas as he could. And good for him. And, you know, unfortunately, my boy Rob maybe spent a little too much time talking to Steven about franchises that weren't actually franchises yet. Could have spent a little more time dedicated to great comic books, because that's what Rob Liefeld does, you know, better than most, is make really fun, dynamic comic books. And you can tell just by looking at this art how fun and dynamic it is. So basically, Blood Wolf severs this dude's head with a gun, leaves a package there. You can see that they're telling us, look at that package. This guy's got a big question mark, wondering what's going on, where is he going? And then you get here, and all of a sudden, get that guy! And Cable is really mad, but he's not actually Cable. See, that's not an X, that's a Y. So my question is, why did he do this, other than that he was mad at Marvel and wanted to show that he could do whatever he wants? And now this is Rob's character, just like Cable was created by Rob. This character, who I don't see a name for, was created by Rob, except he's part of Youngblood, maybe? I'm not sure what's going on here, but that's fun. Like, you got Lobo back here. Lobo and Cable are in this comic book, and I'm sure Marvel and DC were not happy about this, but it happened. He did it. He had the balls to go out there and say, screw you, I created that character, and I'm going to take that character back and put him in this and give him a different name and put a Y there instead of an X, and you can't stop me. This artwork right here reminds me of Keith Geffen, who did Trencher, was a comic he did for Image. And that's what this artwork really reminds me of at times. And it's very interesting, this artwork too. And I don't know if that was intentional or if it's just something that happened. But basically, you know, like Cable wants a piece of my boy Bloodwolf here. My boy Cable wants a piece of my boy Bloodwolf. And Bloodwolf, he's just not going to have any of that. Oh, what the heck, I'll kill them all. And so he just unloads. He just unloads, he runs back to his space vehicle, and he picks it up. See that? He picks it up, and it turns out it's a gun. Whoosh! Done. Done. Loving it. A good little and he makes his escape. And, you know, but he left that package, remember? He left that package on the desk of the fat boy on the moon. And so sure enough, that package goes off. Boom! Bye-bye moon. And that is the first introduction to Bloodwolf, and unfortunately this character never got to have a bigger life other than a 4-issue miniseries that wasn't quite able to live up to the enjoyment of this little mini comic inside of Darker Image. But you do get Youngblood and Bloodshot, an awesome picture. Bloodshot was from Valiant Comics and looks super cool. Undoubtedly the coolest looking character to ever come out of Valiant. Solar Man of the Atom was not cool, and Geomancer was not cool. Exo Manowar wanted to be cool. Rai, or Ray, I'm not sure how that one was pronounced, it wasn't cool either. Archer and Armstrong, just give me a break. But Bloodshot, he looked pretty awesome, and he did seem to fit in very well in the Image universe. And it's, you know, unfortunate that Bloodshot didn't get to have a comic people gave a crap about. It ran for quite a while, but I don't think people actually gave a crap about anything that was coming out of Valiant until they did the Valiant Vision. And maybe we'll talk about that in a future episode. But anyways, this comic is totally worth 50 cents at your local store. If you have a kid who's in middle school, a young man, and you want to give him a comic that's a little bit darker and fun and got some blood and guts in it, that's fun, because boys love that kind of stuff, this is the comic you want to get for 50 cents. A comic that absolutely positively did hashtag move the needle when I was in 8th grade or 7th grade. Every boy at my school just frothed at the mouth over this comic. It was so awesome. So check it out. It's really great. Tell me, what Image comic book made you froth at the mouth when you were a kid growing up in the comic industry? If you're a kid now, which Image comic book do you want to go back and read? And we'll talk more about Image in the future, because I got a ton of them, because I was alive and well at the height of Image Comics. So leave me a comment in the messages below. Let me know what comics moved you. What moved the needle for you when you were a kid in middle school? Remember to like this video. Remember to subscribe to this channel. It really helps. I appreciate all you guys taking the time to listen to me wax philosophical on awesome Image comic books. We'll see you next time.